Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So recently, on my downtime, Kyle recommended a manga to me over stream a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, called Record to Ragnarok. Now, this manga is pretty straightforward in general, and it has very clear, concise feats and power scaling for the characters in the series. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about it and just talk about it in general. It's a really good manga. I'd recommend you guys give it a read. It's called Record to Ragnarok. It's a relatively new manga, but it's pretty fucking good, I'd say. Kyle, your opinion is on the manga?
It, my thoughts on Record of Ragnarok. If you like tournament anime and you like anything historical, like say Fate or the Drifter series, you'll definitely get into this. It's full of gore and awesome fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Best way to describe it. And so what's gonna happen in this sort of little series here is we're gonna be power scaling each individual fight, talking about the combatants and some of the more unique things about the fight. And then either at the end of the video or at the end of doing all the fights, we'll talk about what if scenarios with the combatants have fought in different characters and stuff such of that nature. Now the title will be just saying Power Scaling Record to Ragnarok Fight 1 because I don't want to spoil it directly. So if you guys do want to read it for yourselves, it's not a long read. It's only 33 chapters. You only have to read up to chapter 6 or 7 to get everything done for this video. So, just saying now, if the story... It's a tournament series between gods and humans fighting for survival. It's pretty well done. If you want to give it a read and not be spoiled, I recommend go reading it now. We're only going to be talking about the first fight, which is going to be involving... At this point, you should have paused the video and gone there and read it. So I'm just going to I'm just going to mention the fighters now. It's with Thor from Norse mythology and a guy named... the fuck's the other guy's name? It's Lu something? Lu Wong? Hang on.
Oh. Your lack of respect is disappointing.
I got the first part right. Okay, Dad?
The strongest Chinese general, also known as the Flying General, Lubu.
Son of a bitch. Why do you say it like that? Why are you just you fucking swine?
Because that was so disrespectful.
Dude, I'm gonna be
No,
honest.
You're 4. No, you'll pretty much just we've got 4 and this guy.
That's not what I meant. Okay, so my notes say Lubu. That's his name, right? Is that how you pronounce it, Lubu?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna fucking call him Lou for the rest of the fucking video. Okay. Now, so the series, the top tier power scaling is a little unclear, but thankfully, what seems to be clear is that it does heavily focus off of the mythologies it belongs to, but it is a melting pot. We do have Greek, Norse, Hindu, Buddhism, if that's just called Buddhism, I don't really know.
Judeo-Christian.
Well, no. As of right now, we only have one character potentially from Judeo-Christian, but we don't really know if anyone else from Judeo-Christian exists within the world. It's the second fight if you guys want to see for yourselves who the quote-unquote Judeo-Christian character is. But yeah, no. So we don't really... For all the mythologies seem to be here in some capacity, we just don't know to what extent some exist versus others. Mainly Judeo-Christian seems to be where do you exist in this sort of world? But we'll talk about that more further when we get to the second fight, because that's going to be where that's a little more important. So yeah, the first fight is between what they call the strongest man in recorded history, being Lubu, versus Thor, the strongest god in this version of Norse mythology. I don't know how accurate it is to original Norse mythology, but that's the way it's going here. What feats do you want to start with, Kai, or do you want to give any more pre-information beforehand?
Well, To start off, let's start off with one of the best feats that literally shows up while he's being announced. What's the little announcer's guy name?
I think it's Heimdall. It's Heimdall.
Yeah, Heimdall straight up says that Thor's Mjolnir can straight up tear apart the sea and the lands.
Yeah. So right here, you guys can see the scan right here. Yeah, no. So that immediately is either multi-continent level or just straight up planet level, depending on how you want to interpret that statement. Which already pretty good start to the power scaling, and that's ultimately where this fight will stay at in terms of AP, and this does extend to physical strength as well. I want to make that clear. As I did mention earlier, they are fighting humans, and everything the humans do was shit they could do prior to entering the tournament. I feel like I should preface that now, because there are a couple of things that go on in this fight in particular and in other fights that are like super fucking whack in terms of what people can actually do in this verse of humans, you know? I guess I should mention as well that is an unawakened Mjolnir, because I'm sure Kyle scans for it later up ahead, but Mjolnir does get a second form, as do most characters in this series. I think every single god has multiple forms so far, or did he, did the third fight have a second form for that god, or no?
I mean, unless you consider the god getting serious once he wipes his hair with blood.
Okay, so yeah, no third form there. Alright. The next feat I see here is the direct clash between Lubu and Thor. Now, again, this is why I wanted to preface that the humans could already do the things the humans can do prior to entering this tournament, because they do gain a weapon to help them fight the gods, because only divine weapons can hurt gods. That is stated in the manga. I believe Kyle has the panel for it somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
As Zeus states, no man-made weapon could ever stand up against a god, because any man-made weapon would just like be absolutely destroyed and cause no damage. So the gods are already immune to conventional means of
damage.
Yeah. So basically, for the humans to stand a chance, the 13 Valkyries turn into weapons known as Volans. The Volans give them the ability to hurt the gods.
Yeah, no, but that's all the Volan do. They just allow you to hurt the gods. So going back to the upper panel of Thor being able to, Lubu being able to clash with Thor, that is straight up Lubu's strength doing all of that. The weapon's just there not to break. That's like basically just something to hold against Thor, but he himself is clashing against Thor. Although this is a base Thor, since there is an upgrade when Mjolnir gets awakened.
And may I add, all the feats that I said before are heavily implied to be with an unawakened Mjolnir, and while he's still holding back.
Yeah, like
with the glove that he uses to swing Mjolnir.
Yeah, okay, so Mjolnir, as of right now in this panel and before it awakens, is so weak that Thor needs to wear special gloves to not break it. The gloves hold back his power. When Mjolnir gets awakened, he removes the gloves completely, and this is him at his full power, which I believe is the next panel right here, when he throws Mjolnir forward. It is where... Now, unfortunately here, physical strength is pretty easy to work with, so is raw AP. Speed is not. Speed is not easy to work with here.
It does get better as the fights progress, and it gets easier to tell how fast they are.
Yeah, but this particular first fight, the only thing we really have here is that according to the announcer, or I believe not the announcer, the manga in general, no, according to Prose Idia, no one has ever been able, or I guess according to the manga, no one has ever been able to dodge Thor's hammer being thrown until Lubu steps up and easily dodges and parries it.
And to be noted, when he dodges it, this is from several meters away.
Or like several meters close. Like he's not far away. Like he's not aim dodging here. He has to literally dodge the full fucking thing almost immediately. Unfortunately, again though, we don't know how far Thor scales, but Thor is the god of lightning. So even though he doesn't use lightning at all in his fight, or any of the lightning gods actually use lightning in general, I don't think it'd be a stretch to say they scale to lightning speed bare minimum, especially if he can take on any version of Zeus prior to Zeus getting fully serious. That would at least be lightning speed for sure. I just kind of hate the fact that we don't get any real definitive speed feats for Thor. Gonna be honest here. Well, I mean, like, I guess if we scale maybe freaking his ultimate attack, because it does, for Lubu, his ultimate attack in one swing splits the clouds instantly over a massive distance. But I don't think you can scale that to speed for, like, attack speed or anything, you know? Well, I guess
No,
attack speed,
but it does give another concrete feat to how absolutely insanely powerful the humans are even before this.
Yeah, I know, because he does that with a non-divine spear. He's doing that with a normal spear that breaks immediately upon using it. But going forward, we have an attack called Jurito? I can't really read that too well. Oh, this is when they're using their ultimate attacks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so this is... Now, this attack right here is the attack that Thor uses canonically in this manga to destroy the World Serpent or kill the World Serpent. Which, in Norse mythology, the World Serpent, if you guys don't know, is a planet-sized fucking snake, or at the very least a snake...
A snake... Jormungandr is pretty much a snake capable of wrapping its entire body around the planet.
Like a loser. Yeah, I know. So this is the attack Thor uses to knock him out or kill him. I'm not quite sure because we have different translations here. Mine says it just knocks him out, or it's just what he uses to defeat the World Snake. But I'm not sure if Kyle's translation is different because I can't fully read it from here.
Mine only says, many millennia ago, in the battle with the Great Serpent Jormungandr, it's the technique that was used to beat the World Serpent.
Okay, yeah, so at the very least it was the one that used to knock him out. Which should be planet level, given how big the World Serpent is in general, and that it can wrap itself around the entire planet. Or at the very least, if not planet level, multi-continent level, since it could probably, crush the planet with its size alone, if it could actually wrap around like that. Even then, though, there are other statements as well to support it. So, Lubu is able to, again, this is with his own pure physical strength. This has nothing to do with the divine weapon. He's able to block Thor's ultimate attack. And I believe it's also stated to be a one-hit kill. Like, it's, let me check my notes here. Yes, the attack is stated by all the gods to be a one-hit kill. And they all claim that the attack has never, not killed someone in one hit. All the gods are like, this is done, it's over. And then Lubu blocks it. Although... oh, go ahead.
And to add on to this, it's literally stated to be... Lubu has taken everything Thor could dish out. Which...
yes.
Implies that this was Thor's absolute full-powered hit.
Yes, and keep in mind, this is with a awakened Mjolnir... And the unawakened Mjolnir was already strong enough to apparently basically destroy the surface of the planet. An awakened Mjolnir is far more powerful given the way the gods talk about it. To say it's not full planet level, it would be very unlikely. Especially given how powerful some of the other gods end up being. He is the strongest in Norse mythology. We also have the scan here of Lubu's ultimate attack, which splits the skies, which... This would already be a continental level feat, if not multi-continental. Because I've seen calculations done for things like this before of a similar stature, and this is instantaneous, so this would scale higher than some of the other ones I've seen scaled. So this would for sure be continental.
And to add context to the clouds, these are thunderclouds. He was doing this during a storm.
Yeah, so these are not your average clouds. These are big boy clouds.
Well, they would be more dense.
He knows about the shit more than I do. I don't know fucking meteorology. But so yeah, no. So more denser clouds. It is worth noting though that when Lubu blocks the strike, his own legs snap in two, or more accurately, his femur, or is it the tibia? I think it's the femur pops out of his leg.
He gets multiple compound fractures.
Yeah, so while he can block it with his arms, his legs and the force that, to hold him up, they snap almost instantly. Which is pretty crazy, but he's still able to withstand he's still able to clash against the full blow with his own strength, which should still scale. The durability-wise here is a little different on the table. He can only clash with his power. He can't really take it, but to be fair, neither can Thor really, because Lubu is able to hurt Thor with his attacks, although only with the Valkyrie weapon. But Lubu is a weapon fighter, so that's not anything to really downgrade on there. It's that the gods would be immune to normal weaponry, so that's not really anything to say there. He does actually blitz Thor with speed a couple of times. So Lubu would overall be the faster fighter, but because of his injuries, he ends up resorting to fighting on his horse. And after one final charge, does he actually hurt Thor with the final attack he does before he just charges in without his arms?
Okay, so during the final charge, when he uses the Sky Splitter one more time, that is what makes the wound on Thor's chest, but Mjolnir completely snaps the Sky Splitter in half.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Yeah, and then what ends up happening is he actually survives the attack when he clashes with it, but his arms are torn off, so what he does, he just charges at Thor with no arms and just gets splattered across the ground, as you see in the panel there. So overall, in terms of the pure stats on the table for these two fighters, they're equal to each other, which is a common theme with the fighters until the fourth fight, because the fourth fight is a lot more technical in nature. Physical strength for both these fighters will be planet level at their full strength, because that's the way they're outplaying most of their power. Speed is unfortunately just not. It's not, there's nothing really concrete to work with speed-wise here. We could scale Thor to other gods, but I don't really know if Thor would scale to the gods with impressive speed feats or not, because they might be more powerful than him. One for sure is more powerful than him. I don't know what the third god is. Because, the third god has, nothing but statements.
We'll get there.
Yeah, when we get to the third goal, we'll talk about this again.
Something to add in terms of lore as well. The thing that gives these fights giant stakes is the fact that either god or human, whoever dies, their soul is completely destroyed. They do not return to the cycle of reincarnation. They shall be reduced to dust in the vacuum of space and disappear from the very fabric of existence.
And that's not entirely hyperbolic as well, because Zeus does confirm he can erase things from existence during the first couple of chapters.
When we get there, the actual quote is, he can return things to the void.
Yeah, which would basically mean just erasing in general. Unless the series later on confirms it's actually just opening the portal to the void. The series is relatively young, but it's very good read with good art style. So going back to the stats here for a minute for these two characters, unfortunately, speed is not. You can't really scale speed here unless someone can calculate, maybe Lubu's freaking Sky Splitter attack. That's the only one I can think of where you might be able to get speed from, but nothing else would really help you here. Durability, Thor would scale the planet level. I don't know if Lubu would, because he can clash with Thor, but he can't tank the attacks from Thor. If that makes sense. His durability would not scale to his own physical strength and attack potency. Or do you disagree there, Kyle?
No, because this is where Lubu sits in a weird case where he's far more powerful than he is tanky.
Yeah. I think that's the case for most humans, but I don't recall anyone having a serious of trouble or as much of an issue with it as Lubu does. Because most of the other guys fight bladed opponents or opponents with more power. Thor's just pure brute strength in this one for the most part. Yeah, no. In terms of powers and abilities, there's really nothing special here in powers and abilities. It's really just pure straight physical, strength, over strength situation. Because I can't think of any powers from Thor or Mjolnir specifically that would be impressive or worth mentioning.
No, the only things are the fact that he can throw like Mjolnir, which, given like how fast it is in force, it can hit harder than when he swings. Because that's the whole point of the centrifugal force statement.
Oh yeah. How could I forget his ultimate attack? How he does it?
Besides from that, this, in terms of narrative-wise, this is the weakest fight narratively.
It might also be the weakest fight in general. I don't know. Like, not getting to spoilers, the weakest fight would either be this one or the fourth fight.
I'd actually make the argument that the human who fights in the fourth fight could beat Lubu.
If they're fighting in the arena that he selects, yeah, probably. But we'll get to that all in good time. So we will be doing this series, and we will be talking about each individual fighters. This one is a little more boring in comparison to the next couple of fights. Like, the next two for sure are going to be a lot more interesting to talk about than this one. Not to say the fight's bad. Like, again, the manga's not bad. There hasn't been a fight that's been outright bad in the manga by any capacity. But in terms of, like, actually being able to talk about it and go in depth, there's nothing really to scratch at here. They're very honest about what they can do and
to put it bluntly, this will probably be the shortest video out of all the fights coming up.
Would you like to know how long this video is, Kyle?
How long?
It is 22 minutes.
Oh, shit. Imagine when we get to the next one.
Oh, yeah, if we fucking go... Yeah, because that's going to have a lot to talk about.
Well, especially when we have to explain the scaling as well.
No, yeah, it's gonna be, that one's gonna be at least a fucking 30-minute bare minimum, especially if we go off on our tangents like we're going on here.
No, the thing that's gonna go off on a tangent is when we talk about the third fighter's ability.
Definitely the funnest. I'm personally looking forward.
Spoiler, it's better than Ultra Instinct.
Spoiler. Almost everything is better than Ultra Instinct. Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, no. The second and third fights are like JoJo's levels of fun when it comes to like bullshit powers and stuff. The fourth fight's good. The fifth fight's not done yet, but who knows?
The fifth fight has technically just begun.
Yeah, but most of these fights only last like 3 to 4 chapters. But it's like a monthly serial, I think it is, or a monthly setup.
Yeah, sometimes 2 chapters come out, sometimes 1.
Yeah, no. That's going to be it for this video, talking about the power scaling for Record of Ragnarok for the first fight. Definitely check out the manga for yourselves. I might check if they actually sell it online, because I would not mind buying the actual copies. But I don't think it's translated in English yet, is it? Like on actual stores or anything? Yeah. I'd
actually have to look that up.
I'll have to take a look at that myself. I've been using Scanlations. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next stream or video.